This evening on Dateline, we have a rich package for your viewing pleasure, starting with a report on the last days of the Ramadan fast. We also have a report on the resolve of Nigerian-born and trained medical personnel to seek greener pastures abroad, and a report on the penchants for job justice in Nigeria of today. All this will come your way after the hard news segment. Babatunde Bola Tito is my name, welcoming you to Dateline. The Independent National Electoral Commission has invited the Adamawa State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Mr. Hudu Yunusa, over the declaration of election result held yesterday. The Commission disclosed it today, noting that the process has clearly not been concluded before it made the declaration. INEC described the action of the REC as a usurpation of the power of the returning officer, declaring it null and void and of no effect, and thereby suspends the declaration. The REC returning officer and all involved have been invited to the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. Meanwhile, the governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, has been declared the senator-elect for Sokoto South Senatorial District. The returning officer, Professor Abubakar Bagudo, said Tambuwal, the candidate of the PDP, defeated the current serving senator, Dambaba Dabua, with a total of 4,976. Similarly, the Independent National Electoral Commission has declared the incumbent lawmaker and candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC Tolulope Akadesha Adigbe the winner of the supplementary election for Oluyole Federal Constituency of Oyo State. Mrs. Akadesha Adigbe is declared winner by the returning officer, Professor Olaniyi Babayemi. The REC said Akadesha Adigbe polled 14,891 votes to defeat her closest rival, Mr. Olawale Mugbedubola of the PDP, who scored 13,073 votes. INEC also declared Dicket Plank of the APC winner of the Plateau State Central Senatorial Zone. Returning officer Dr. Jimad La, who announced the result in Panchi, the headquarters of Plateau Central Senatorial Zone, said Plank scored a total of 131,129 votes to emerge the winner, adding that Yohara Gotom of the PDP came second with 127,022 votes. In the same vein, INEC returning officer of Sokoto State declared the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Abdul Samad Dasuki, as the winner of the Kebe Tambuwal Federal Constituency with a total number of 47,317 votes to defeat his closest opponent, Muhammad Balakebe of the APC, who gathered 34,282 votes. The president of the World Bank, David Malpass, has urged the Nigerian government to remove trade barriers, including multiple exchange rates, which it said is hampering growth of the nation's economy. Speaking at the spring meetings of International Monetary Fund and World Bank in Washington, D.C., Malpass said there is need for the country to ease trade restriction and diversify its economy to achieve shared prosperity and sustainable growth. He noted that the Nigerian economy is expected to grow by world's projection by 2.8% in 2023, stressing the need to focus on improving electricity, access to clean water, and more investment in agriculture, which will help trigger faster growth. The World Bank, in its Africa Post report titled Leveraging Resource Wealth During the Low Carbon Transition, said the country's economy is set to grow by 2.8% in 2023, representing a significant drop from 3.3% recorded in 2022. Going by World Bank's projection, poor policies by the federal government are creating trade barriers that are worsening the nation's economic growth this year. The Nigerian Navy has sustained presence of our capital ships at sea, as well as directed operation bases to enhance efforts to dominate their areas of operation in response to recent spike in piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. The Director of Information, Nigerian Navy, Commodore Adedoto Ayovogan, said it in a statement in Abuja. Commodore Ayovogan said the spate of piracy in the Gulf of Guinea within the last 10 years reduced to an all-time low in 2022. He said that while concerted efforts were being made to reduce piracy within the Gulf to its lowest minimum, 2 unfortunate incidences were recorded within the region in the last 3 weeks. According to him, the first incident, which involved the hijack of motor tanker Mojasa Reformer, occurred in the west-southwest of Point Nord, Republic of Congo. He said it was later discovered that the pirates abducted 6 crew members from the vessel. The second incident involved the hijack of MT Success 9 in Côte d'Ivoire. In a bid for sustainable water supply to the people of Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke has directed a phased rehabilitation of selected waterworks and water pipeline networks across the state. The statement by the spokesperson to the governor, Olawale Rasheed, revealed that the new directive is coming as the sinking of 332 boreholes under direct labor are ramping up with their replantation. In the bond report from some quarters that 14 million naira was the cost of each of the 332 boreholes. Governor Adeleke, acting on a committee report relating to the worsening state of infrastructure within the water sector, approved the immediate upgrade of pipeline network of both Ede and Osogbo waterworks, alongside the repairs and recharging of water filter media at Iwo and the Koindi water wells. The water scheme at Asanko is also under rehabilitation for supply of water, while the governor is following up the Federal Ministry of Water Resources for the completion of Ile-Ife water project. The state government is also interfacing with the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to resolve the delay created by the mismanagement of Elisha water project, with particular reference to the contractor and project managers. Stakeholders in the popular Atakumasa market, Elisha, have put an end to the controversies surrounding the recently commissioned lock-up shops at the market, describing the speculation that Governor Ademola Adeleke commissioned 64 lock-up shops built by predecessor Mr. Ademola Adeleke as a mere ruse, unfounded and political propaganda that should not be reckoned with. Chairman at Takumasa Market, Chief Babatunde Bebe, and the Yaleda of Ijesha Land, Chief Anna Agwe, stated this by speaking before NBC News in Elisha. Sahid Adeboje now brings details.
One of the ancient market in the history of Osun State is the Atakumasha Market. It is situated in the heart of Elisha, not far from the palace of the Owa-Obokun Adimula of Ijesha Land. The market houses lock-up shops and open space outlets where food items, clothing materials, and other housewares were sold. But some 9 years ago, the popular market, often described as the biggest in Osun State, was gutted by fire, making traders lose goods worth millions of naira. By this, one would think it is the obligation of the government to assist in rebuilding the market, if not assisting affected traders with cash. Lo and behold, the former governor Rauf Aregbesola promised to raise the market to an international standard. His successor, Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola, through the Ministry of Works and Transportation, built some open outlet shops, some completed and some not completed. In fact, some of the projects embarked upon by the past administration are at the foundation level. A good idea of what an abattoir should look like the administration had, but the building housing the abattoir was never completed due to other shops. Meanwhile, the shops have been numbered. Recently, the governor Ademola Adeleke's administration thought of quick intervention aimed at relieving traders of hardship melted on them in the process of keeping their wares. He constructed 64 lock-up shops at the Atakumasha market within 100 days in office. It was commissioned by the Deputy Governor, Prince Kola Adewusi, for the use of traders. But before leaving the scene of the program, the social media had been awash with insinuations that Governor Ademola Adeleke was commissioning the project already completed by his predecessor, claiming to be part of his achievement in 100 days he assumed office. A fact-finding mission by this reporter revealed that apart from the fact that the Governor Ademola Adeleke's project in the Atakumasa market occupied a separate parcel of land with 4 blocks, the 64 lock-up shops were not numbered as done on the project of the past administration, which was marked and numbered. The Iyaloja of Ijesha land, who doubles as the Iyaloja at Atakumasa market, has this to say about the insinuations and the project of Ademola Adeleke's administration.
Na fila se ibe fún wa an de wa se fún ane an de bi pe ran la an wa si ye an se fún a òun na la si o ele kan ti wà lálẹ́ an de dire o.
Marveled by the unfounded claims by some people that Adeleke was commissioning an already completed project, the chairman at Atakumasa Market, Chief Babatunde Obembe, explained that the market received a check to build 64 lock-up shops from Governor Ademola Adeleke in February. He warned rumor mongers to be wary of their comments on social media as the project of the 64 local shops was started and completed by Governor Ademola Adeleke's administration.
Àwọn ìjọba àná ilé ìtàn ṣe ọ̀tọ̀. Àwọn ìjọba ìní ilé ìtàn ṣe ọ̀tọ̀. Àwọn ìjọba tó wà lóde lẹ́ni 64 local shop náà kọ́. Láàrin ọgọ́rùn-ún ọjọ́ tán dẹ̀ wá sí so kò jọra wọn.
The door of Chief Babatunde Obembe and Anna Awe appealed to Governor Ademola Adeleke to disregard baseless propaganda by his political opponents and assist in completing the leftover jobs of the previous administration in Atakumasa market.
Ẹ ṣe àwọn ṣọ́ọ̀bù tí wọ́n ti parí yìí àwọn ìjọba àná àwọn ni wọ́n parí ẹ̀kan tó fi ìjọba lẹ̀ ó dé wá ń fàsìkò ìrọ̀ ìjọba tó wà lóde nísìn láti wá bá a parí ẹ̀ Ọlọ́run á kún wọn lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run á ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ á ṣe é ṣe fún wọn lágbára Ọlọ́run.
Yẹ kí ìjọba àná kó ṣèkù kan wá bá a parí rẹ̀ torí gbogbo ìjọba wọn ṣe kó fún àná ni pé gbogbo àdọ́lé kọ́ wà lálẹ́ náà ni à ń parí kan lè lábá gbogbo ẹ̀ náà kan bá a parí rẹ̀ o.
Should you be chanced to visit the Atakumasa market in Ilesha, it is clear that you will see the project of Governor Ademola Adeleke and that of his predecessor Adegboyega Oyetola. From the office of the Deputy Governor, this is Saeed Adevoje reporting.
The General Manager of Osun Community and Social Development Agency, Mrs. Fumi Abokide, has cleared the air on the rumor peddled around about the recently commissioned Atakumasa market between the incumbent administration of Governor Ademola Adeleke and the immediate past governor. Mrs. Abokide explained that a total of 64 lock-up shops were built by the present administration in the state and commissioned, pointing out that the Osun SCDA monitored the project, which commenced in February this year. She made a clarification while speaking on the Malayo, a radio TV enlightenment program on the achievement of Senator Ademola Adeleke's administration. Mrs. Abokide added that on assumption of office, Governor Adeleke released over 500 million naira to Osun CSDA for the execution of projects ranging from provision of potable water, provision of walking aids to people with special needs, construction and rehabilitation of schools, toilets, and health facilities, among others. The General Manager of Osun CSDA added that the money is being used for the execution of no fewer than 98 projects spread across all areas in Osun State, out of which some have been completed and the rest are nearing completion. Now welcome to our sports segment. The 2023 Federation Cup National Draw has been scheduled to hold on Wednesday this week. However, ahead of the draw, 8 playoff matches will be played on Tuesday. The draw ceremony will hold at the conference room of NFF FIFA Global Project inside Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. Thereafter, the round of 64 matches of the first of the competition will commence on Wednesday, while the round of 32 will hold on May 3 and 16. Matches will be played by May 10. The quarterfinal of the competition have been scheduled for Wednesday, May 17. And now to our foreign stories. A fire in a residential building in Dubai killed 16 people and injured 9 others in the wealthy Gulf Emirate. The government said the fire broke out yesterday night on the 4th floor of the building in the Al Ras neighborhood in the old part of the city. The Civil Defense Force preliminary investigation showed that the fire was caused by lack of compliance with building security and safety requirements. It added that firefighting teams were at the blaze within 6 minutes of being notified. Dubai, one of the 7 emirates of the United Arab Emirates, has a population of around 3.3 million, of whom almost 90% are foreigners. We now go on a short break. Dateline continues in a moment. You're welcome back. The last 10 days of Ramadan, often referred to as Laylatul Qadr, are times of intense worship and reflection. Muslims believe that Almighty Allah is most merciful and forgiving during this month. And the last 10 days are opportunities to seek forgiveness for past sins, while the seclusion at various mosques, which is also referred to as itikaf, and they also use the last 10 days to seek blessing for the future with charitable act, which is also known as Zakat al-Fitri. Our reporter, Oluwatobiloba Junuda, looked into the significance of the 10 days of Ramadan, which encompasses the Night of Majesty, otherwise known as Laylatul Qadr, Itikaf, and Zakat al-Fitri. This report is presented from our studios.
Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar and is considered the most sacred and blessed month of the year for Muslims worldwide. The last 10 days of Ramadan hold a significant place in the hearts of Muslims due to the various virtues and rewards associated with them. The last 10 days of Ramadan are also considered very significant in Islamic tradition. These days are often referred to as Laylatul Qadr, which is also known as the Night of Majesty or Night of Power, Night of Value, and Night of Destiny, and these days are believed to be the holiest night of the year. During these last 10 days, Muslims increase their act of worship and devotion so as to meet their Creator on one of the odd nights called Laylatul Qadr. During these days, they also spend more time in prayer and reciting the Holy Quran, while in seclusion at the mosque, which is referred to as itikaf, and also towards the end of the last 10 days of Ramadan, Muslims are expected to engage in charitable acts, which is referred to as Zakat al-Fitri, before Eid al-Fitr. According to an Islamic scholar, Dr. Kehinde Busari, the Night of Power, which is also called Laylatul Qadr, is significant and most important aspect of the last 10 days of Ramadan, adding that the Night of Majesty is considered to be better than 1,000 months. He stated further that Laylatul Qadr is said to be the night on which the first verses of the Holy Quran were revealed to Prophet Muhammad, enjoining Muslim Ummah to see the last 10 days of Ramadan as a time of increased spiritual reflection and connection with Almighty Allah, and also strive to make this day.
We find it, we search for it among the odd nights of the 10 days, the last 10 days of Ramadan, 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, 29th. It is very important and significant to Muslims because the worship that a Muslim engaged in one night of Laylatul Qadr will get a reward of someone who worships his Creator for 83 years and some months. And it is very significant because it is during that night that the Quran was revealed. We believe that there is no any other night that is significant more than the night of majesty. Anything that you want, just ask from your Creator and Allah will oblige. Allah will do it for you. Should not play with the last 10 days during the month of Ramadan.
Speaking on the significance of itikaf during the last 10 days of Ramadan, clerics including Chief Imam of Ilobu, Alhaji Abdulaziz Adewale, Chief Imam Ahmadiyya Central Mosque Osogbo, Alhaji Muhammadu Adeniran, maintained that during these last 10 days of Ramadan, Muslims increase their acts of worship and devotion, spending more time in prayer, reciting the Holy Quran by staying in itikaf, that is, the mosque, while expecting the last odd night, seeking the blessings and rewards of the night of power, which is also referred to as Laylatul Qadr. They noted that itikaf is considered to be a highly meritorious act of devotion in Islam, adding that it is a time when Muslims draw themselves closer to Allah and seeking His forgiveness, mercy and guidance.
The last 10 days of Ramadan are very, very important in the Muslim life. Those 10 days of Ramadan is looked upon as a period of immense blessings. And that is why Muslims used to have what we call al-i'tikaf, whereby you retire into the mosque. You spend all your days in the mosque. You spend all your nights in the mosque. You act not only prayer, but you recite the Holy Quran, you worship Allah, and it's a sunnah of the Prophet that when you do it, when you have that intention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you in manifold.
The Holy Prophet Muhammad Islam also has taught us a lot of things to be doing during this month. Firstly, anyone searching for this night, we have to go in seclusion in the mosque for 10 days. And we call that seclusion itikaf. That is seclusion in the mosque for 10 days. A lot of people used to do it in this way that they will calculate by themselves. When the Ramadan is 21, 23, because the Prophet has said it falls in the odd night, doesn't mean that we should violate the law or the rules that says we should look for it in the mosque.
Also speaking on the significance of Zakat al-Fitr, Alhaji Muhammadu Kozim said Zakat al-Fitr is a form of charitable giving that is mandatory for Muslims during the month of Ramadan, saying it is also known as Sadaqah al-Fitr or Fitrana. He added that this type of zakat is considered to be a means of purifying oneself, and it is an essential component of the fast-breaking celebration known as Eid al-Fitr.
Zakat al-Fitr is one of the charity to be given to the Muslims or non-Muslims, so to perfect the fasting. So a lot of shortcomings that might have gone during the fasting. So Allah expected the Muslims to give out charities, so to correct all the shortcomings, all the wrong deeds that you might have perpetrated during the fasting. As we are running out of the Ramadan fasting now, 3 days to the end of the Ramadan, Muslims, the fasting Muslims are expected to be given out Zakat al-Fitr.
Although the exact date of the night of power is not known, but it is generally believed to fall on one of the odd nights of the last 10 days of Ramadan, with the most likely nights being the 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th or 29th of the holy month. Therefore, it is important for Muslims to stay in itikaf throughout the period of the last 10 days of Ramadan and also do a lot of zakat before the eve of Eid al-Fitr. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga for Dateline.
Nigeria, unarguably the giant of Africa, is blessed with so many human and natural resources, which is known all over the world. What could have been responsible for the mass immigration of Nigerian trained medical experts to UK, which led to the country being placed on red list of countries that should not be targeted for recruitment? Dateline reporter Omotayo Adebodu takes a look at the reasons and effects of this development on the Nigeria's health sector. The report.
Migration is a natural phenomenon among humans. From time past, human beings have often engaged in movement to places where they could find comfort. People migrate from their country of origin due to several reasons such as economic, health, social, education, and security reasons, among others. The migrations of health professionals in Africa, medical brethren, deserves critical attention due to its adverse effect on the health system for developing nations, which indirectly impacts population health outcomes and creates greater inequality among vulnerable populations. In the case of Nigeria, the international and internal immigration of medical doctors has created a great challenge for public health system. It worsens already weak health system, which widens the health inequality gap worldwide. Recall that in 2021, the UK suspended the recruitment of health workers from Nigeria and 46 countries, noting that the increasing scale of health and social care workers migration from low and lower middle income countries threatens the achievement of their nation's health and social care goals. The WHO on March 8, 2023, listed Nigeria and other 54 countries as facing the most pressing health workforce challenges relating to universal health coverage. Currently, 11,055 Nigerian trained doctors in the UK based on statistics obtained from the UK General Medical Council. Nigeria has the third highest number of foreign doctors working in the UK after India and Pakistan. However, the code of practice for the international recruitment of health and social care personnel in England recently updated confirmed Nigeria returned to the red list countries, which means no active recruitment is permitted. This comes amid a public outcry about brain drain in Nigerian health institutions, as several medical doctors and other health workers have migrated to the UK and other parts of the world in search of better job rather than practicing at home. Speaking with OSBC News, Dr. Kayode Oguniyi lamented on the poor treatment of medical staffs in Nigeria, which made it necessary for them to search for greener pasture elsewhere, adding that if the country is safe and conducive for them to practice, they would not leave the country.
So people who go out of Nigeria, it's not only because of money. A lot of people left because of security challenges. A lot of people left because of remuneration. A lot of people left because of inflation rate. A lot of people left because of energy situation in Nigeria. So these are the areas that the government should address. What are the reasons for brain drain? And address, and some of the reasons are the one I'm highlighting.
Meanwhile, a bill seeking to curb brain drain by mandating Nigerian medical doctors to practice for at least 5 years in the country before going abroad has passed the second reading in the House of Representatives. This means any trained medical or dental practitioner will have to practice in Nigeria for a minimum of 5 years before being granted a full license by the council in order to make quality health services available to Nigerians. Reacting to this, Chief Wale Oyeniyi and Mr. Akin Oluwoye bemoaned the inability of Nigerian leaders to genuinely enhance the human and natural resources of the country for the benefit of the citizenry.
In the first instance, it's against the ILO, International Labour Organization's rules. There should be mobility of labor throughout the world, globally. You see, our assembly people, they don't know what they are doing. You cannot cop somebody now you don't give scholarship to. If you give them scholarship now, they sign bond. But somebody now you didn't give scholarship to, how can you ask him to stay for 5 years? It's illegal. They should contact the ILO regulation. Anybody can go to anywhere in the world. You can go to anywhere in the world, work anywhere in the world. What have they done about paralyzed economy that we have in Nigeria? They did nothing, and they are saying people should not go. Why? Must they tie them to, to what? It's illegal.
Training a health officer like a medical doctor requires a lot of money, and parents strive to make sure that they bring up their children up to such a level, especially the medical personnel. Then how can you be saying that before they can go abroad in search of a golden fleece, they have to practice for 5 years before they go? What informed that is not good. And that's not what we even asked them to go and do.
The respondents maintain that in as much as brethren in the health sector is not healthy for the nation, the lawmakers should equally promulgate a law that will restrict public officers from seeking medical attention outside the country so that the health sector would be given the necessary attention it requires for the betterment of the nation. Meanwhile, the president of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors of Nigeria, Dr. Emeka Oji, has confirmed that the association has sent a communique to the Speaker of the House of Representatives calling for an immediate and complete withdrawal of the bill. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, has disclosed that the federal government is working on halting the brain drain in the health sector by improving condition of service. The minister also said the plans are on to get medical and health practitioners who have traveled abroad to visit home to work temporarily to teach and train home-based doctors and nurses. Motayo Adibodo reporting for Dateline.
Nigerians are no doubt passing through what could be considered the toughest phase in history. No doubt the citizens utilize every available opportunity to ventilate their anger. Sadly though, the victims of such situation judged with justice are the same commoners. In this Dateline report, Omotayo Adebodu takes a look at the reasons citizens take laws into their own hands. The report.
Jungle justice is a public form of extrajudicial killings where an alleged criminal is beaten, stoned, publicly humiliated, and in most cases burned alive by angry mobs. Section 33, 34, and 36 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria stipulates that everyone has the right to life and no one shall be deprived internally of his life, save in execution of the sentence of a court in respect of criminal offense of which he has been found guilty in Nigeria. A right to dignity of human persons, right to personal liberty, and right to a fair hearing respectively. However, mob justice denies alleged criminal these rights. Angry mobs last Monday stoned a 35-year-old man to death for allegedly killing 2 persons and injuring 6 others in an accident at Ijoka Road, Akure, Ondo State capital. Also, a final year student of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife Okoli Aize, has been reportedly beaten to death on suspicion that he stole a mobile phone. Samuel Deborah, who was until her death a student of College of Education in Sokoto State, was killed in a controversial manner by some suspects who are yet to be prosecuted. These are few among other cases of mob actions in the country. Speaking with OSBC News, Barrister Yomi Obaditon stated that jungle justice is increasing in the country as a result of the weak judicial system.
When society look away for what is normal to the things that are abnormal, when people violate the law and nothing is done to stop it, the thing will be on the increase. And that's why you now see it's now becoming a norm. No sanction. No one has been punished for that purpose. Law is there, but it's not carried over. So we must be carrying our law, taking people to court, and ensure that justice is meted out. And that whosoever it is, allow the law to have its course. We should not look at people and then bend the law. And then the judiciary should rise up to the level in which they accelerate such things like this. Otherwise, that the government must not just take people to court, but they must address the root cause of this criminal behavior.
Also speaking, Barrister Tumbosun Oladipupo and Barrister Bukola Onifade said that many innocent people have lost their lives to this dastard act. They appealed to people not to take laws into their hands because life is sacrosanct.
It will take a longer time for the process allowed by law to be fully effected. For instance, the case of Ife, whereby that OAU master student, the case has been going on, people have been coming to court, and judgment will be delivered very soon. So that is the process. You allow the process to have its course uninterrupted, and at the end of the day, if a party is guilty or a party is liable, it will be made to face the consequence. So our people should be urged And you know, there should be an enlightenment that when things happen, we should not take law into our hands.
A lot of things contribute to the advent of jungle justice, ranging from injustice in the society, improper management of the provision of law by the authority. We react most times on a false information, the information that is not genuine. And you discover most of the people that are victims of jungle justice, they are being victim based on the false information spread of falsehood in the society. And our people, based on their ignorance of law, we react immediately and take the law into their hands, and at the end of the day, innocent person will fall victim of their action, illegal action.
They appealed to people not to take laws into their hands because life is sacrosanct. They also admonished the government across all levels to wake up to their responsibilities of ensuring law and order as well as upholding justice. In several instances, they mistrusted law enforcer and the justice process. This largely stems from a lack of diligent investigation and prosecution of suspects. The complexity of law enforcement in suspect escape from justice and the painfully slow wheel of justice in Nigeria, with court cases dragging for years while thousands of suspects await trial. Motayo Adibodo reporting for Dateline.
With that report, we have come to the end of Dateline for today. I want to thank you sincerely for watching. The production assistant is Abdul Jalil Adebusi. Abiodun Olalere is the executive producer, while Akinola Owolabe is the editorial advisor. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. I'm your anchor for today. Join us next week for another edition of Dateline. Good night.